Hey guys, Doug Pedersen here. Good morning, good afternoon, and good day, depending on where you're at in the world today and when you're checking out this video. Doug Pedersen here, and it's my pleasure to be here on video number 22 of 52, me upholding my commitment to post something of value each week right here on my Facebook page. So I got a question here to open us up today. Have you ever had a reoccurring dream? You know, the kind of dream that you might have every day or once a month or frequently enough to where you recall the pattern and recognize, these are the same events, maybe the same people that keep showing up in your sleep. Have you ever had that? All right, you might not want to admit it, but I know I have. I've had several reoccurring dreams as I've grown up that I recall vividly and that have been meaningful once I've been able to crack the code on them or understand what was going on there. But the one I want to share with you today is about middle school. Those grades of 7, 8, and 9 in America. That's called middle school or junior high. Did you ever have a wall locker, either in junior high or in high school? Those big steel door or those little steel door where you could store your books and your backpack and your lunch, and you had a combination on there. Turn left, then turn right, then turn left again, or whatever. All right, well, what we did in my junior high school, when you got to junior high, that's when you got your first wall locker, and you kept a locker each year. And in high school, you had a locker, and there was a point in time where I was a little lazy, so I was able to finagle 2 lockers, one on one side of the school, one on the other side, so that I could keep books. If I had classes over there, I kept books for that class on that side of the building, and so forth. And so I had a couple lockers usually. I don't know how I was able to do that, but that meant having several combinations. And so anyway, fast forward out of middle school. This is somewhere, it's been a while since I've had one of these dreams, but definitely through my 30s, maybe late 20s to mid to late 30s, I would have this dream of being back in middle school, all right, in the period in between classes where everybody's out in the hallways and getting their books and changing their books and everything else and getting ready for the next class. And I would be at one of my wall lockers trying to remember the combination. I'd literally be standing there. You only get about 5 or 6 minutes in between classes to change out your books, grab what you need, and get to your next class. And I would be there trying to figure out, okay, which number's first, and then I turn left this way twice to pass which number again, and I would spend all my time trying to figure out the combination because I couldn't remember. I had so many combinations. There were so many lockers over time. I couldn't remember which combination went with that locker. And in the dream, it's a silly example, but in the dream, I would usually spend all the time that I would need, in between classes, trying to try different combinations to figure out how to get in there, to the point where everybody was already at their other classes, and I'd be alone in this hallway, this long hallway, with all the lockers all by myself, late for class, without what I needed, and still trying to get in the locker. All right. So it wasn't a very anxious dream for a long time. I felt like it was kind of a silly dream. But what I know now today is that dreams, can be silly. But what's important if we have a dream like this is what we feel. It's not necessarily the details of the dream or the literal expression of the dream, but what are the emotions that are going on inside. And when I look back on that dream and knowing what I know now, and after living all the life that I've lived, a lot of what that dream was about was these things. All right. Because these questions here, these 6 fundamental questions of self. Oh, by the way, that's what we're talking about today. 6 fundamental questions of self. If you saw video 21, we introduced them. And even throughout the week, as I've been posting different motivational quotes and whatnot, I put this up there. A lot of you engaged with it. And so you should have seen this, all right? But a lot of what that dream was having to deal with in me was me trying to determine the combination to myself, all right? Which are the answers to these questions. Who am I? What do I want? What is the point? Where am I going? Why am I here? How do I live a meaningful life? Okay, right? What did we say these are? These are the 6 fundamental questions of self. They're really universal, whether you're consciously asking yourself these questions or not, trying to get answers. We all confront the answers to them or confront the questions at some point. Usually in adolescence, when we're young, as we're growing up, as we become more aware of ourselves and of our families and our role in the family and beyond, and think about this big life that's in front of us. And then maybe that's it. Maybe we decide some answers here and we stick with that plan for a long time. Or maybe as we grow, we get into transition and we might decide to go to the university or get married or have kids or get a career or change careers or start a business or whatever. And life has a way of throwing you into situations that sometimes help you reevaluate and get new answers to these questions. All right. So back to the dream. Basically, not having the combination created a lot of anxiety, and it also wasted time to the point where everybody was where they were supposed to be, and I felt like I was still struggling with the combination. And when I've had those dreams, that's when I've been in a period of reevaluating what the answers are to these questions, right? I was always in a period of self reevaluation or evaluation, all right? So I don't want you to be stuck in the hallway trying to figure out the combination to your wall locker. I want you to get in there quickly, grab your books, and get in the game. Get in the classroom, start learning, start growing, start contributing, start being involved with others. And a lot of times that requires us to have a really good set of answers to these questions, right? Because what did I say in video number 21, the last one, right? What's the expert tip here? Is that we all ask these questions. We all are confronted with these questions. But the quality of them, right? The quality of our answers, a lot of times, or the answers usually determine the quality of our lives or the quantity of our impact or the quality of our service or who we're able to help, all right? So I hope this is starting to make sense, all right? I'm going to run through a couple scenarios here and just show you how I've applied this and tried to grow in it. But just remember, these questions are super important. These are the combinations to your safe. These, the answers to these questions are the combination that opens your locker, okay? And it allows you to get in there and get all the good stuff that's waiting for you to grow and to contribute, right? Grow to the point where you can actually contribute, all right? So that's the big deal. Let's talk about this. What happens with some of these, okay? We're not going to go through all 6 of them. That's really your job. I go through all 6. But remember what I've said before is that, it's good to get these questions out, hang them on your wall. This hangs in my office because I teach it a lot, not just on this video, but in other forums. And I'm also looking at it myself, so as I'm teaching, I'm looking at it, I'm refreshing my answers. And what I've noticed over time is that I a lot of times try to push myself and upgrade my answer, get a higher quality answer to who it is that I am, and what is it that I want, and try and push myself to a higher quality answer. We have that ability, especially as you grow older and more mature and get more experiences and get more wisdom and get more people in your life. You have the opportunity to upgrade the answers. You're not stuck with just one answer for the rest of your life, okay? So think about it that way, all right? So a couple more minutes here, and I want to model this out, all right? So a lot of us, who am I? A lot of us get stuck there, right? And some of you, if you're thinking about it even now, the answer to it might be, I don't know. I don't know. If someone asked me this question when I was 15 years old or 16 years old or 17 years old, I definitely would have a different answer then than I do now. And I'm guessing if I had to go back to my 16-year-old self and say, Doug, who are you? Who are you really? My answer would be like, I don't know. I don't know. And if I went to my 25-year-old self and asked the same question, Doug, who are you? Who are you really? I think I'd probably say, I don't know. I don't know, And so my goal here today is to push you to answer the question, who am I? And I want to push you to find the most positive answer that you can, even if you don't believe it, all right? Here's why that's important, all right? A few years ago, for several years, I was a volunteer, life skills instructor for a nonprofit that's near where I live here in America. It's a nonprofit that's designed or was formed to help families that are almost homeless, all right? Someone has lost a job or the breadwinner got sick and the family, is getting kicked out of their home. All right. So this shelter basically is designed to help people get back into the workforce, get back into a healthy living situation and give them life skills in order for them to do that. Okay. So I went there twice a month for 2 years and I taught stress management and conflict resolution. And I like to come at things in an unconventional way. And a lot of times I'd get to this question and just ask people. Now remember, these are people that are struggling, all right? And they're having hard times, real hard times, maybe for a long time. But I can tell you that everybody that I asked, and bear in mind, I met a lot of people, very diverse group over those 2 years. I met attorneys, I met nurses, I met preachers, I met blue-collar people, I met veterans, okay, who all had, different experiences, but they all answered the question, who am I, with a very negative answer, right? It usually tied back to some trauma or some failure that they had had. You know, one guy got kicked out of the Navy 40 years ago, and, you know, probably a couple other things, probably a few more things happened than that, but he had turned to alcohol to deal with it. And his whole answer, you know, who are you? Who are you? His answer was, I'm a failure. I'm a failure. All right, that's a big difference. That's a big difference than someone who answers the question, who am I, as even just simple. Like, I'm a son, or I'm a daughter, or I'm a father, or a friend. Big difference. And how those two people would behave and think of themselves, and then really also be able to contribute to other people. Okay? So I hope, does that make sense, you guys? Does that make sense? So again, the story about the life skills instructor, I mean, everybody had a negative answer, and a lot of times what I'm saying is it caused more stress, it caused more conflict, and it puts them on a path, or put them on a path that wasn't healthy, wasn't good. Nobody there felt good. You know, that's what I'm saying. And so we need to get out of that. We need to break out of that and get better answers. That guy wasn't a failure. You know, he got kicked out of the Navy. Sure, he made some mistakes, but are you telling me, even if he was 18, 19, 22 years old, that he couldn't come back, grow more skills, learn from his mistakes, do better the next day or the next year? He absolutely could have. But he chose a meaning that wasn't empowering. Okay? We all have that opportunity. That's our choice. You know, are we going to pick a meaning that's empowering and allows us to move forward in a positive way where we can grow and contribute? Or is it going to shrink us, you know, and make us crawl back into ourselves and ultimately really make us more selfish? All right? All right, so I just gave myself away here. This is the second really big goal that I want you guys to think about as you answer these questions. Who am I? What do I want? What is the point? Where am I going? Why am I here? How do I live a meaningful life? If all your answers to these questions only include you, you've got some major growing to do, my friend. Just like I have, and just like I still do. You know, just like I still do. You know, if you're identifying, who am I, with just yourself, like I'm a CEO of a company, or, you know, I'm the best obstacle course racer I know on my block, or, you know, what is it that I want? I want to make $1 million, or I want to make $100,000 this year, or I want to travel the world. You know, if I say, what is the point? I don't know. You know, a lot of times we have just solely focused answers on ourselves. We really don't know what the point is. Maybe to do more. I don't know, is to live an enjoyable life. You know, I really want to enjoy my life, you know, and retire well, you know, and be secure, you know, with my finances. Where am I going? I don't know. You know, I could be contributing just to my career, and then I'm going to retire, or, you know, I might not even have an answer to this question if I'm just focused on myself. Why am I here? You know, people who are solely focused on themselves usually have a hard time finding answers to this one and this one. How do I live a meaningful life? I hope that makes sense, all right? Very different than someone says, who am I? You know, like, I'm a disciple, I'm a teacher, you know, I'm a friend to people, you know? What do I want? You know, I want to live a meaningful life. I want to help people, you know, in their well-being. I want to help them feel better so they can do better and live more. You know, you see what's happening? You know, I'm getting beyond myself and including more people. Life is an ecosystem. Nobody's on an island. Nobody's here to do it by themselves. We all have to contribute and grow and receive from each other. That's how this whole thing is designed. All right, so your answers here need to get you off the island and expand you into other relationships and family. What's the point? Well, the point is to learn and grow and contribute. You know, if that's my answer, you know, how do I do that? Where am I going? I'm getting closer to God, or I'm going to serve a community that's underserved. You know, like Mother Teresa. You know, I'm going to help all the orphans. Where am I going? I just keep getting better, right? That might be your answer. You know, I'm just going to continue to grow and mature and do my best each year until I can help as many people as possible, or I can put my kids through college, or I can, you know, help my wife get her degree, or whatever the case is. Why am I here? I'm here to serve. You know, I'm here to serve. I'm here to grow to the point where I've got something to give. And when I can give, I want to give it in the biggest, most maximum way I can. You know, what's the point? To live a path of service. How do I live a meaningful life? If I can uphold myself, if I can keep my standards with 1 through 5, I believe I'll have a meaningful life. I believe that I will have learned, I will have attained, I will have achieved abundance, but not just for myself, but for others, on the path of service. All right? That might be an example of how you might answer those questions. I hope you see the difference. One is very narrow, very selfish. I'm not calling you selfish. I'm really referring to myself, okay? I'm talking to me, okay? But one is very narrow and one is very insulated, and doesn't have a lot of energy in it that can propel one forward. Whereas the second example, when you start including other people and what's the point and how can you contribute, or how will this serve others? There's a lot of energy in that, that will propel someone forward in their life to find the ultimate, how to live a meaningful life. Okay? Think about that, you guys. This is just food for thought. Today, these 6 fundamental questions, it's a framework that will get you to go deeper within yourself. This is a grab bag of information. You need to grab the questions that make sense to you, that resonate with you. You need to go inside and grab the information out yourself. And if you pull out a negative answer like I'm a failure, or I'm a loser, or nobody will love me, you need to slap that right out of your mouth and come up with something else. Like something else that's even better. Like, well, I'm a son, or I'm a coworker, or name a relationship that you're in. Hopefully one that's positive. I'm a boyfriend, I'm a girlfriend, I'm a student. That relationship points to other people, okay? So get rid of the selfish tag that you have for yourself, if you have one, and find something positive that includes other people, all right? And use that to pry open yourself, all right? If we cut everybody open, right, the whole you, cut you open like an apple, what would we find? Would we find a rotten core? No. We would find something that's extremely powerful, something that's extremely wise, something that is extremely lovable. All right, that's what's at the center of all of us. All right, I truly believe that. So dig in there and find yours. All right, a little bit longer today, but if you hung in there, it's worth it. Do this stuff. You can do it. All right, self-care isn't just about what you eat, how you move. Definitely that's how it works. But if you don't have your mind right, if you don't have the combination to the safe, your body, is not going to move the way you want it. It's not going to take you to the parts of life where you can really live a meaningful life. All right, we can really feel your best, do your best, and live more. All right, doing good helps you feel good. So this stuff will help you do good, which will help you feel good. All right, guys, that's my time. Thanks so much for checking it out. If you missed any of these other videos, we've been doing this for 22 weeks. 22 weeks, we're almost halfway there. And there's a lot of content out there. I don't know how many hours of video or how many minutes of video we've got, but if you missed anything, scroll back down on this Facebook page and you can see these other videos, or check out the YouTube page. Okay, we've got all these loaded on YouTube, and you can check out the headlines that make sense to you and watch the 5, 10, or 15 minutes that are there. All right, guys, that's my time. Remember, the goodness that's in me is the goodness that's in you. You deserve it, so go after it with all you got. Have a great day.